Hello, everyone. My name is Najija Bisong, and today I want to talk about dating. This is going to be the perfect video for those of you who are back out in the dating scene and wanting to date more consciously, with more intention, and possibly not wanting to repeat old patterns. So, off the bat, I want to let you know that I actually have done this. So, this is not just something I read somewhere, it's something I came up with and that I tried for myself, and it worked immensely. And so the idea is realizing and recognizing that us women are deeply intuitive. I am a somatics teacher. And so when I came up with this idea, I realized that our body is super intelligent. And I'm teaching women this all day long, every day, is to connect to our bodies. And then it dawned on me, like, why am I not dating with this same level of intention as I do when I'm in my somatic workshops that I'm teaching? And so what I did was I started to utilize my body, my connection to my body, as my deepest messenger and using my phone to track along all the things my body's letting me know. Typically, our minds will tell us things that we've learned to perceive. So our minds will let us know, like, oh, this person is safe, this person is good, this person is better than this person is exactly the type of person you need to date. We'll have all these illusions of what we think we need, but our body will be letting us know alert, or our body will let us know red flag. Our body will just say, like, that's not my person. And it might not be anything negative about that person, but it's just not your person. Our body will let us know that. But if we're just so going with what our head is saying, we're completely ignoring and gaslighting all the messages our body is saying every single moment. And I think it creates a deep practice for us to listen to our body when it comes to love, romance, and dating. And so the way I do this is the moment I start dating, if you're doing online dating or you're just meeting folks in person, whenever you start dating someone, you'll grab your phone and your notes section. You're going to create a note section for each person you're dating. So let's imagine you're dating three guys. And so for every single guy you're dating, you're going to write their name, and then you're going to have bullet points. Every time you go on a date with this guy, you're going to notice what you're feeling. You're going to actually be very present, very intentional while you're on the date. You're not going to get lost into the date and just kind of fly by the seat of your pants. You can have fun, be engaged, but also be present to what your body is saying. The moment they go to the restroom and you're on your phone, maybe going on social media, or the moment you go into your car and you're about to start your car, I want you to write down whatever you notice in your body on your phone before you forget. And so let's just say you're dating John and Aaron. And so you're dating a guy named John. You're going to write down everything you notice while you're out with John. So maybe you're on a date with John and you notice, like, wow, for whatever reason, he's saying the most interesting things, but my body keeps backing away. Like every time he says something, my body gets further away from him. Write that down on your notes section. You're also going to write down sensations. So maybe the moment you saw him, your heart just closed. You felt this contraction around your heart. Or maybe all of a sudden you noticed that your throat felt really dry when you're around him. But the moment he left, your throat opened up again. Just little, small, even big and very weird things like that. You're going to write it down in your notes section. You're going to write down when your heart felt open, when it felt closed. You're going to write down when you felt claustrophobic. That's a very true thing that I felt while I was on a date with the guy who, in front of me, he was very good looking, he had a great job, he was super funny, really interesting, but I literally felt claustrophobic when I was around him. And so we're going to jot everything down in our notes section for every single guy. And we're going to track it all for as long as we date them. And so obviously, if we get into a really deep relationship at that point, you can stop at that point. But I want you to keep a really full list. So let's say you date this one guy, let's say you date Aaron or whatever for like 5 months before you get into a long-term, like, monogamous relationship. So you're dating for 5 months, you've kept this long track, and maybe you have a lot of like issues on this feeling bullet list, but you decide you're going to go through the relationship anyways, because you're like, oh, he's pretty cool. Like, everybody likes him. Like, nothing really bad has happened. I'm going to go for it. So you get in this relationship with this person, and maybe you have a great relationship. So you think, and then all of a sudden you guys have a breakup. And so you're kind of surprised, but maybe you go back and look on your list and you look back at that feeling list and you're like, my body was letting me know all of these signs well ahead of the time. And I didn't listen and I went to the relationship anyways. And then we had like this surprise breakup. And now I look back on the list and now the feelings make sense. And so I know you can't reverse time and be like, well, I wish I didn't even date this person. The beauty in this is now you can look back at your list and see how your body communicates to you. You now can look back at your list and now begin to trust your intuition and know that the next time you get that interesting tingle in your body or that interesting feeling, it's not just random, it's your body actually letting you know something. Again, our bodies are so intelligent and so right on, but we're missing the point most of the time. And so this practice is so helpful. Even if you don't listen to it right away, you can go back and you will always have the proof right there. If we're just using our minds trying to remember, our minds usually remember all of the good. We remember all the beautiful moments, the special moments in the relationship, but we forget the feelings that happen. We forget our body sensation. So that's why the list is so important. Another thing I really want to highlight with this is our bodies are letting us know all these things. And sometimes there's many reasons why our bodies can feel like it's backing away or it feels tight around our heart. It could be because this guy is not your person. And it also could be because there's some healing we have to do when it comes to opening up to relationships. So it doesn't really matter which one it is. The point I want you to have is that no matter why our heart is closing, we're going to trust our heart. So when our heart feels closing, like when we're on a date and our heart feels like it's contracting, we're going to write this down with this date with this guy, John, our heart's contracting. And we're not going to judge it. We're not going to say, well, why is it contracting? Is it contracting? Is it me? Did I do something wrong? Is it really him? He seems great. We're not going to get into that right away. We're just going to listen and jot it down. As we move forward, we can then start to have a conversation with our body and our heart and listen and kind of decipher whether it's something around the relationship with him or whether it's around our own personal healing. We can figure that out down the road. But right away, we're just going to listen and trust that our body, whatever it's saying, it's fully accurate. So I want to give you an example. So imagine you're a parent, like a very loving, conscious mother, and imagine you have an 8-year-old daughter. Imagine your daughter is typically pretty shy, more introverted, but she's been invited by her best friend to a birthday party. And typically we think like, oh, if you were invited to your birthday party by your best friend, that's exciting. You want to go, right? But imagine your daughter is like telling you, Mama, I don't want to go. I don't want to go to this birthday party, to this sleepover. I'm nervous and I don't feel safe going there and spending a night. You're not going to tell your daughter that you're going to have to go. You're not going to try to coerce her or try to gaslight her and tell her, well, your friend's a really good friend. You should go to the sleepover. You're going to trust the fact that she feels unsafe. And you're not going to judge whether that's her friend is the problem or whether that's your daughter, her own insecurity. You're going to just trust that at this time, the sleepover is off and she's not going because she doesn't feel safe. And then maybe you can ask some questions later. Maybe you can ask, like, is there something wrong? Like, why don't you want to sleep over? Does something happen between you and your friend? And then maybe your daughter says, no, I really like her, but I just don't feel safe being at someone else's house for 12 hours. I get really scared and I feel awkward and I don't know what to say sometimes. And I just feel like that doesn't feel safe to me. And so maybe you tell your daughter, like, oh, okay, well, how about we take your friend out for ice cream on Friday for a couple hours instead? And maybe her face lights up and she's like, that's great. I would love to do that. So you hear that example with you and this imaginary child that you have is that you're going to hear her like being scared of going to a sleepover. You're going to listen. You're going to first take her knowledge, her scaredness as truth. And that's it. Just like we did as that parent kind of example I gave you. Your daughter said, I'm scared. I don't want to go. So you said, we don't have to go. I trust your scaredness, period. And then you proceeded to ask more questions. You said, did something happen? You know, what do you think about this? And she said, oh, no, I like my friend. I just don't feel safe because of this reason. And that's exactly what you're going to do with your body. After some time, after you trusted that your body closed your heart and your body said, no, I don't feel good with this person, you're going to say, I got you. And you're going to write it down. You're going to trust what your body felt. And then later you can ask your body, why don't you feel safe with this person? And then your body might say, I just don't feel safe with any guy right now. Like I'm still hurt because of the last relationship and I'm still heartbroken. And then you're going to take that and say, oh, okay, so should we not date anybody? And maybe your body's like, no, I want to date, but I might need to slow down a little bit. And then you're going to listen and you're going to say, we got it. We don't have to rush into a relationship. we can slow down and we can communicate this with the person that we're dating. We can let Aaron know that we really like Aaron, but we just want to take it slow. And so this is how you communicate with your body and how you use your body as your navigator, basically, when it comes to dating. How fast you need to go, when to slow down, who to date, who not to date, and tracking all this on your phone. The main thing is we have been gaslit so often, typically in our emotions since we were little, by having parents or friends or teachers tell us not to feel a certain way that we're feeling. And it's like, I'm feeling it. How are you going to tell me I can't feel this? But we've been so used to having that happen to us that we do it to ourselves. Our body will feel unsafe with somebody. Our body will not trust somebody, but we're just going along with it because they say all the right things, or they're trying to tell us that we need to trust them. I'm going to let you know that your body is actually always accurate. And so we're just going to learn how to relearn, I should say, how to hear our body and to listen to it. And so it's like building back a muscle that is innately ours, but we just got to build it back up again. And so we're going to use this practice to hear our body and our wisdom of our body and actually listen to it. So I hope this is helpful for y'all, and I hope that you can take this onto your dating. This was tremendously helpful for me. Again, I didn't always listen, but it did help me in the reverse, looking back and seeing that my body was literally always accurate. I thank y'all so much for listening to this video, and I will see you guys next time.